Hi everyone, it's Kunihiro. Thank you for coming back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make this pre-cooked eel into delicious eel sushi. So let's begin.
Okay, so this is a pre-cooked eel, which you can find in the freezer section of any Asian grocery store. Unfortunately, it's very hard to find fresh eels in Western countries, so even Japanese restaurants use this type of pre-cooked eel. But of course, I always make efforts to serve this eel most deliciously. So I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay, so first, let's take a look at this eel. This is what it looks like. The eel is already filleted, seasoned, and cooked for you. And as you can see, this eel is entirely covered with a lot of eel sauce, and the skin is still attached. Now, there are a few things I want you to remember when eating pre-cooked eels like this one. First, I want you to remember that this eel sauce contains a few unnecessary ingredients, such as color additives and starch. That means the sauce is mainly used to enhance the color of the eel. You can eat it, but it doesn't taste so good. And second, to eat this eel deliciously, we must broil the eel until the skin becomes crispy. So even though this eel is pre-cooked, just microwaving doesn't make this eel delicious. But if I broil the eel with this sauce on, the sauce will burn before the skin becomes crispy. That means the skin will remain chewy, sometimes even rubbery, which is no good. So what I always do is wash off the sauce before broiling. And since we can't count on this sauce, we have to buy eel sauce separately or make it on our own. So today I will show you how to make delicious eel sauce first and come back to this eel, okay? So for the time being, let me put the eel back in the fridge. Okay, so these are the ingredients for eel sauce. I have 200 ml of soy sauce, 200 ml of mirin, 200 ml of sake, and 200 grams of sugar. Okay, so first, please add mirin and sake into a pot. Then turn the heat to medium and bring it to a boil. And once it starts boiling, set it on fire and let the alcohol evaporate. And when the fire goes out, add soy sauce and sugar into the pot. And stir it until all the sugar dissolves. Keep stirring until the sauce starts boiling again, because we don't want to leave any undissolved sugar in the pot. Undissolved sugar will burn the sauce. And when it starts boiling again, please turn down the heat and simmer the sauce for about 40 minutes until it reduces to 40% of its original amount. Please make it low heat. It's after 10 minutes of simmering. And it's after 20 minutes of simmering. "30 minutes have passed. Please stir it one more time. Then you'll see a lot of tiny bubbles coming up. This is a sign that the sauce is thickening. So I always check the actual thickness of the sauce once at this point. Now I want you to remember, eel sauce thickens a lot once it's cooled down. So we should cool it down before checking it. Otherwise you will never know the actual thickness of the sauce. So here's what I always do to cool it down very quickly. First, I scoop a tiny bit of the eel sauce with a spoon and place the spoon on top of ice cubes like this. And wait for 15 to 20 seconds. Then the sauce in the spoon becomes cool enough for you to touch it. Now stir it with your finger like this. Then the sauce becomes cold very quickly, and you can feel the actual thickness of the eel sauce. But if you're making it for the first time, it's hard for you to tell if it's ready or not only by touching it. In that case, get a clean dry plate and drop a little bit of the eel sauce like this. Then tilt the plate. If the sauce runs down very slowly, it's ready. But this time it's running down very fast. That means it's not ready yet. So let me simmer the sauce for another 10 minutes. After simmering for 40 minutes, your eel sauce will look like this. Once you stir it, many tiny bubbles will come up and stay on the surface like this. It's a sign that the sauce is thickening a lot. Now let me recheck the thickness. Scoop a tiny bit of the sauce, cool it down on ice cubes, stir it with your finger, and drop the sauce on a clean dry plate. Then tilt the plate. This time the sauce is running down very slowly. That means this eel sauce is ready. Looks perfect. Now turn off the heat, set it aside, and let it cool down completely. Those tiny bubbles will be gone once it's cooled down, so you don't need to scoop them out. And once it's cooled down, transfer it to a sauce bottle. I usually end up with about 350 milliliters of eel sauce. And you can keep this sauce easily over 3 months in the fridge. Let me show you what it looks like on a plate. I hope your eel sauce will look like this. Okay, so that's it for eel sauce. So now let's go back to the eel. Right, I'm back to the eel. Okay, so as I said earlier, I'm going to wash off the sauce first. Please wash it gently with low water pressure, because pre-cooked eel meat is sometimes breakable. Actually, the best way to do it is to wash off the sauce while it is still half frozen. That way, your eel never gets damaged. Then after done washing, dry the eel with paper towels very well. And next, I'm going to cut it into sushi pieces. But first, I'm going to cut it in half. Okay, this is the head side and this is the tail. Please make sure to place the eel skin side down. And as always, I start cutting from the tail side, then move toward the head side. Okay, so angle your knife 45 degrees against the eel, tilt the blade a little bit, and cut. A good size is about 18 to 19 grams a piece. And meat near the head is thicker and tougher compared to the tail portion. So I suggest you move your knife back and forth when cutting this part. Also, you have to use a little muscle when cutting through the thick skin of the eel. I usually use edge pieces for the inside of rolls. Then cut the other half of the fillet in the same way. As you can see, the skin is very thick, so it will remain very chewy unless you cook it until crispy. And next, place eel slices on aluminum foil. At this time, please make sure to put them skin side up. It's very important. Then I'm going to take this to the toaster oven. And broil them on high for about 8 to 10 minutes. I set the rack on the bottom, that way the eel will be heated evenly. I always broil fish under this setting and get the best result. Let me start with 6 minutes to avoid overcooking. I'll keep the rest in the fridge and eat it tomorrow. You can keep it for 3 days at most in the fridge. Okay, next let's get ready to make sushi. So you need sushi rice, plain water to wet your hands, eel sauce, roasted sesame seeds, and nori, seaweed. First, we need to cut the seaweed into thin strips. We call these obi, that means belt in English. And we use these to hold fish and sushi rice together. Okay, so the setup is done, so let me go check the eel once. Okay, so it's after 6 minutes of cooking. It's always good to check in the middle, because we don't want to burn our expensive eel. Please touch the skin and feel the crispness. The skin is getting a little crispy, but it's not quite ready yet. So let me cook 3 more minutes. And before eel is ready, I always make rice balls for sushi, so that I can serve while eel is still hot. So wet your hands and grab some sushi rice and make a rice ball while you roll it in your hand. Now put the rice on your left hand. Put your thumb here. Cover the rice with 2 fingers of your right hand. Then press the side of the middle finger with 4 fingers of your left hand. And rotate, press the side, rotate, press the side. One more time, press the side. That's it. I think many of you have already noticed, but I shaped the sushi rice a little more tightly without making an air hole, unlike making regular nigiri sushi. I will explain why in a later step. This is the last one. Okay, that's it. I've made 8 pieces of small rice balls. So now let me go check the eel again. So it's after 9 minutes of cooking. It looks great. Now I can hear sizzling sounds and see many tiny bubbles are popping. And the skin has become crispy, so it's ready. Okay, let's go back. Next, please carefully detach the eel from the aluminum foil. and place the eel slices on top of the sushi rice. Get your plate ready. Then take a piece of seaweed and put it at the center of the eel. At this point, put the left hand fingers on the seaweed so that it doesn't move. Then with right hand fingers, pinch both sides of the sushi together with the seaweed. Then turn it over and seal both ends of the seaweed. And that's it. Your eel sushi is ready. I'll show you one more time. So put the seaweed at the center of the eel. Pinch both sides of the sushi together with the seaweed. Turn it over and wrap seaweed around the sushi rice tightly. Okay, that's it. Please make it very tight like this. And when wrapping seaweed around the sushi tightly, the sushi rice always comes loose a little. So if you make your rice bowl too soft, it will fall apart when wrapping seaweed around it. So that is the reason why I shaped my rice bowls tightly in the earlier step. Last one. Okay, that's it. So now, please arrange your eel sushi beautifully on the plate and drizzle eel sauce over it. And sprinkle some roasted sesame seeds in the end. Okay, that's it. And your delicious eel sushi is ready. Please eat it while it's warm. Alright, so that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed watching today's video. So if you did, please hit the like button and leave a comment below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.
いただきます。
美味しい。